Why Sounds It Out eventually stops working. One of the most common pieces of advice we give young readers is sound it out. And in kindergarten, that's exactly what we want. Children learn individual letter sounds and then they blend them together for words like cat, sun, and hop. It builds incredible foundations. But something really interesting happens as children become stronger readers, is that they stop reading one letter at a time and they start recognizing patterns. I'll never forget one of my year 2 students. They had missed a lot of their phonics instruction before coming into my classroom. And one day they got stuck on a word and I encouraged them to read it. I just said, give it a go. And very confidently, they looked at the page and read, e-i-g-t. And I was so confused. So I asked them to repeat it again and they said, e-i-g-t. So I just looked at the book and the word was eight, E-I-G-H-T. And in that moment, I realized something. This child wasn't struggling because they couldn't read. They were struggling because they were still trying to read every single letter individually. So instead of simply telling them the word, we stopped, we explored it together. And I showed them that E-I-G-H isn't 4 separate sounds. It's a pattern. It's a quad graph. 4 letters are working together to make one sound, which is the long vowel A. And suddenly the word wasn't impossible anymore. And even better, they hadn't just learnt one word. They'd learned a pattern that they could use again and again for other words as well. And that's the beauty of phonics, that it isn't memorizing thousands of words, it's recognizing thousands of patterns. And the more patterns that children learn, the more the English language starts to make sense. People often think that English is random. I actually think English is one giant puzzle. There are clues everywhere. There are long vowels, there are digraphs, split digraphs, the soft G, the hard G, common spelling patterns. And at first, it feels overwhelming. But then one day, the puzzle pieces start connecting. And I'll be honest, even as a teacher, when I first started learning explicit phonics instruction, I remember laughing and thinking, do I even know English? Because nobody had ever explained why the language worked the way it did. And once I understood those patterns, everything became easier to teach, and children became so much more confident to learn. And that's why I love phonics so much, because we're not asking children to memorize a language. We're giving them the code to unlock it. And once they understand the code, they stop guessing, and they stop fearing new words. They stop waiting for someone else to tell them the answer. Instead, they look at a word they've never seen before and they quietly think, I know how to figure this out. And I think that's one of the greatest gifts we can ever give a child.